All right, we're back in session. Jason?
All right, thanks for coming in. We're trying to make our budget process as streamlined as possible, so here we all are together. We'll all probably have questions for you and different comments, and so if you just want to introduce yourself for the record and then just run through your budget, any changes and how things are going with what your needs are going to be.
Dave Martinez, Public Defender. I did the budget with an eye towards knowing that we're going, in theory, we're all going to be state employees within the next year and a half. Although the farther we get down that trail, the more I'm concerned that the counties may be getting reimbursed for another year after that because there's so much to do, and they haven't hired a public defender yet, and I don't think they're going to have anybody till August, and expecting that person to set up the whole system, pay and everything else in a year is going to be difficult. I generally don't make specific requests on salaries. I have on some years. Other years I've just said I know that you're going to do what the best you can. This year I did put in a 5% COLA just as a recommendation, knowing that CPI this year was 4.9% again. For the assistants, I've had several. I requested 7%. I've had some assistants who've had to move in the last year, and their rent over the past 2 years actually has nearly doubled. I mean, that's just a reality in the market in Pocatello as we become, unfortunately, more like the urban areas of Idaho. Our cost of living has skyrocketed. I think we're rivaling some of the larger areas now. Hopefully the housing market will flatten out and we'll be able to get some more affordable housing, but it's difficult for our assistants right now. The market adjustment that I requested for myself and the leadership staff, that was just based on review of what similar jobs are making in other counties, even counties with smaller offices, particularly Bonneville County and Twin Falls County. They both make 123 to 125 now, so they will be even more ahead after next year. So I'm, between $12,000 and $15,000 behind even smaller offices in other counties. And I'm trying to keep as many people as I can. I have hired another person, hired someone away from a job where he's actually making more, and I think some people are speculating that public defense, and I only say this because it may impact what prosecutors ask for in the future, so it's just a heads up to you. The speculation is that when all public defenders are in one system, that the rising tide will probably lift all boats because they're not going to get Boise attorneys to take less. So I think that's going to raise all boats, and I think that's something that the prosecutors may be requesting of you in the future. So, other than that, I asked for a social worker, as I do every year. I think that's crucial, and it is an integral part of a lot of public defenders' offices around the state. I know it's difficult to justify new spending, particularly where you're about to get rid of us. Where you're getting reimbursed, though, I'm hopeful that we can show some positive impact from that. The idea is to streamline sentencings and connect people with services as soon as they're released from jail. And the hope there is that we can reduce recidivism by making sure that we're contacting people and getting them in touch with services, which will try and keep them off the streets and get them into treatment right away as soon as they leave jail, so that there's a hope we can start to address some of the substance abuse issues that Bannock County faces, which is incredibly severe right now. You're all aware of the fentanyl epidemic and how we're losing people. I just had the whole office trained in Narcan, and I got free shots out of the Substance Abuse Commission from the state. So I'm doing what I can to save money wherever I can.
You got what?
Free Narcan shots.
Shots? I thought don't they have like an inhaler thing?
Yeah, but
That's
I couldn't get those free, so we didn't buy those. I got free
I
shots.
got some free.
Did you? Well, this was a particular agency and what they had, and these expire in January, so I took 10 of those this year, and then when they dole them out new next year, I'll try and get some of the inhalers, but the shots are effective as well, so I got some of those for free, so.
Okay, let me ask you, sorry to go off on that sidetrack, but
No
let me ask
worries.
you one quick question here. The social worker, so their primary job would be as people are coming out of the system to get them connected into, that would be what they do?
That's a big part of it. The other part is writing biopsychosocials, so that assists the attorneys in sentencing. Particularly on felonies, a gain has been done on everyone who's been convicted of a felony and is being sentenced. That's going to stop. The mental health evaluations have traditionally been poor because a lot of times they're based on the gain. Are you familiar with a gain? A gain is a global assessment of individual needs, and it's something that all treatment agencies used to give them kind of an overall picture of what a person needs in order to get them onto probation and try and have them be successful. The state is doing away with that process. My biggest concern with that process is they would do a gain which is self-reported, so the defendant is giving you all that information and it's not necessarily verified. So they're weak anyway because a lot of our clients are poor historians. And then they do the mental health assessment based on an assessment that was done by somebody who probably didn't have a mental health background. A lot of times it's just a alcohol and drug counselor. So in a lot of offices, in particular, Coeur d'Alene has 3 social workers on their staff. We're doing biopsychosocial, so we have more information to give to the judge so that we can structure a probation if they're pleading guilty in order for them to try and be successful so that we can keep them from being incarcerated in the future. They can do historical information, get historical information and records collection and assembling because they're particularly trained to do those sorts of things with those needs. And the other aspect is connecting people to services as they leave the jail. But the term in social work is often a warm handoff. So if somebody introduces you to the next person in line, be it housing, be it food boxes, be it treatment, substance abuse, mental health, or even for traditional illness, we can do a warm handoff on those people and get them into a service immediately. We can save money in the long run, both in incarceration fees and making sure that people are less sick when they go back to jail because of the costs for medical. I mean, there's in some bigger offices that, I always keep track of public defense. I just celebrated my 28th year last week in the public defender's office. So in a lot of offices, they have nearly as many, the Bronx in particular, they have nearly as many social workers as they do attorneys. Because you're doing, it's called holistic public defense, where you're trying to address the whole person. So you have a team. So we're addressing the needs to keep them out of the system in the future, their legal needs, and trying to put together a whole plan to try and keep this person from returning. So I think it's for the potential benefit, adding one staff person at that rate has a potential for a lot of savings.
We need to add cell phone stipends back in here. That wasn't budgeted, but we have it this year.
Oh,
Maybe just missed.
maybe just missed, I
Okay.
think.
We'll do that.
Because I wrote off on the side for entire staff. And that, cell phones have become more crucial as things go. I mean, the assistants text us more often than not. While we're in court, we can't answer a phone anyway, so we're getting text constantly. Do you have any specific questions? I didn't ask for a lot. I know that we're a problem that hopefully will be down the road before too long. The social work positions I felt are necessary. I know that you're going to do whatever you can on the salaries. That's within your bailiwick, and it's always been consistent between the departments, and I understand that.
And you have 2 vacancies right now?
One, I filled.
You filled?
I filled. So when Kent retired, I moved Riley Fry up to his position. Riley's been with us for, I think, 10 years now. Is an exceptional attorney, and I have him doing complex litigation. He does a lot of the child sex cases, which are very, very difficult. He's talented, he's intelligent, and he is the kind of person that, when we talk about succession plans, that's the kind of person that I anticipate taking over for me at some point. So he has always been part of that plan, and he's known that for several years. That when Kent left, he would be taking that role, and that I would be assigning some new duties to that role. And then I moved Zach MacArthur.
Let's be careful on names.
Oh, okay,
This
sorry.
This is an open meeting.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so I moved, my felony numbers are rough. And I have told you before that I think they're artificially inflated by the fact that they make us count probation violations as a whole case. Because of the damage I've got done to my felony caseload, I've hired a new person and promoted another person into Cody's slot, but I'm paying those both as felony attorneys, but giving them mixed caseloads, which is some misdemeanors because they don't have enough misdemeanor people, and a majority of felonies, so that I can deal with some of that overflow. Losing Cody after, I think it's been 5 years, I think, is difficult, but we knew that was going to happen eventually.
Just curious about the vacancies.
Yeah,
That's what happened there lately.
and I just hired someone Monday. And a lot of that has been, Commissioner, I know you'll appreciate this, I get people over and I show them what a team looks like, and what people who have each other's back looks like, and that we do a difficult job and we're supportive of each other, and I'm very proud of the people that I have there and how hard they work. So some of that is the difficulty of public defense will never change, but you can make people feel supported and part of and valued.
So you took a few increases here and there, 1,000 here and there.
Yeah,
Just for-
nothing significant, just concerned about overage, about costs going up and being stuck, because we almost never go over budget. I think it's been once or twice in almost 30 years.
And we've got money in here for murder trials. We don't need.
We do. Comfer's going to trial in October.
Okay, October.
And I have a couple other murders that are not death penalty.
Okay. I just didn't know if we could take off the, including Comfer, but no.
No, because it's not
Okay.
death penalty anymore, so now we're paying for it
Right.
instead of the capital defense fund.
Right. So we'll need that 75,000 to stay.
Yes.
Okay.
Although, that not being a death penalty case is significant. That's a lot of good work done by my office to get death penalty off the table on that particular matter. And that's going to make it so that it's not being appealed for the next 20 years.
else?
I'm
You have
good.
anything,
I'm good.
John? Okay. Thanks a bunch.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Hope you're all enjoying your summer
Oh, you bet.
as much as you can.
So far, so
Today's
good.
the first day, so we're enjoying it.
Yeah.